Hello and welcome back to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. This is the second of two videos today with David Paul, who is the MD of VectorVest, and we're looking at stock specifics or specific stock picks to look at the moment. In our previous video, you mentioned maybe it's now a time just to sit on your hands and do your homework with regards to stock picks and see where the market goes. But you've kindly brought along 4 stocks today that our viewers, investors should be looking at. So I'll hand over to you to walk through the charts and just talk through these particular companies and where you see the value. Starting off with your first stock today.
Taptica, yes. Well, it's great to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me. These are 4 speculative stocks that I believe have got tremendous upside, and VectorVest believes that have got tremendous upside. I've spoken about more conservative picks in the interviews with Mus and with Zach over the last few months. Taptica is in the media business and are growing very strongly indeed. My charts have got a common layout in that I've got the candlestick chart representing the price. In the window above the price, the thick green line is the VectorVest valuation. And as a default, I won't be buying shares that are trading below their valuation. And a very, very long time ago, my grandfather told me that the only way to make money in anything was to find the value of something and then pay less for it. So that's the motto.
Sound advice, yes. Very nicely.
In the window below the price is earnings per share. And it's my belief and the belief of Benjamin Graham in The Intelligent Investor that earnings per share growth is the engine that drives the share price. So I like to see earnings per share growing and growing linearly in that little window. So Taptica had a really good run last year. We called it many times on my blog at vectorvest.co.uk and on the program here with Zach. Since that, it's pulled back, and it's pulled back to the last old high. Those fib analysts watching will note that it pulled back in a nice, what fib analysts call an AB equals CD move, where the AB and the CD leg are exactly the same. And it's now trading in a series of inside bars, and it had quite a nice day yesterday with unreasonable volume. It's still on a hold recommendation in VectorVest, and as we discussed a moment ago, the general market, the short-term trend of the general market is down. So I think that that's one to watch. If it should change to a buy recommendation, then I think that there's plenty of upside in Taptica over the next month or two. But a share to observe. Great opportunity, I believe.
Understood. One for the radar. And then moving on.
Sopheon, again, in the software media business. Again, it's undervalued. It had a great run last year, and as soon as the numbers were great. As the numbers came out, it's the old story of sort of buy the rumor, sell the report, and then it's trailed back. It's come back to a very important resistance level, which has now become support a couple of times. And over the last 2 or 3 weeks, there's been a lot of volume going into the share at these particular levels, and it's already moved on VectorVest to a buy recommendation. So Sopheon looks as if it can push north from here into earnings season again. And again, let's wait for the general market to right itself. If it does right itself, the seasonality on the world markets going into October is not the best. So let's just wait for all the boxes to be ticked. I'm getting very conservative in my old age.
Understood, but that does present buying opportunities,
yes.
And obviously you're showing us a few here.
Tremendous upside in this little share, I believe.
Super. And moving on, we have Midwich Group.
Midwich Group, a worldwide operation, marketing audiovisual equipment, has been listed for about a year. That little jump up that you saw in July the 21st was because of a trading statement that the company put out on that particular day. And it gapped its way up the page. As you can see, earnings per share is growing strongly. The share price is undervalued, and I would expect it to move up from here. It's on a buy recommendation, and I would expect it to move up to where the price and the valuation are pretty much the same. and our program VectorVest finds these undervalued shares that are growing their earnings safely and reliably, and it finds them at a couple of clicks.
It looks like a fantastic IPO story as well. This is what you want to see of companies coming to market, not raising capital and slowly diluting. And we can see the EPS is growing as well. So.
This is a quality. It's a small company, a small market cap, but it's doing all the right things. It's ticking all the boxes, and I would suspect that as soon as we see some market strength again, that's going to show us a clean pair of legs up the page.
Super. And finally, we're looking at Griffin Mining.
Well, Matt, if you want to buy yourself a gold mine in China, this is the one to buy. This is a mine in China. The numbers that came out last year were superb. As a result, VectorVest revalued the share based on those numbers, and you can see the green valuation line shooting up the page. Our earnings per share is rising in sync. The share broke up and is now pulled back in what technicians would refer to as a flag pattern, which is a bullish pattern, and it's doing its best to try and break out of that flag. And if it does break out of that flag and move to the technical target, the share price should double. But nevertheless, it is a play on the gold market. If the gold market stays where it is at the moment or moves higher, then I think that share's got tremendous possibilities. If the gold price should pull back, then clearly that share's going to pull back with it. So a play on the gold price, but in terms of the fundamentals of the share, in terms of the technical position of the share, if you've got a stomach for a little bit of risk in a gold mine in China, then that's the one to look at.
Fantastic. You mentioned at the top of the show, these are speculative buys and recommendations. So with regards to your whole portfolio, you necessarily wouldn't have, say, Griffin Mining as 100% of your portfolio. You would try and diversify one.
Certainly not. At VectorVest, we have a very conservative methodology. It's called worry-free investing. And none of these shares would be in a worry-free investing portfolio at all.
Understood.
In the worry-free investing portfolio, we sort shares not by earnings growth, but by earnings safety. And none of these shares would fit that bill. But these are 4 shares for fairly aggressive investors that I believe, and VectorVest believes, have got tremendous upside, with Griffin Mining being the riskiest, I believe, of the pair. But technically, it looks really good to me. It was off a tick or two yesterday with the gold price, but if the gold price can maintain itself up around these levels, and technically it looks very good up there. Politically, clearly, if the world rights itself, then the gold price will probably come back. But that looks like a really good story to me, Griffin Mining.
Super. And if our viewers want to find out more information, what do they do?
Well, vectorvest.co.uk, or I'm running a seminar in central London next Saturday afternoon. It's in Bloomsbury, and everybody's welcome. If you go to vectorvest.co.uk, then you can register for the seminar. It's free, and I look forward to meeting everybody.
Super. On that note, David, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.